a day after writing and being on screen throughout the Thunder TV taping last Tuesday. Vince Russo went home Thursday after a confrontation with Turner's WCW supervisor Brad Siegel to put his status in the company in question. Russo, who was suffering from concussion symptoms coming out of his Ric Flair cage match on June 5 in Atlanta, was having vision issues and headaches in the past 2 weeks while continuing to take bumps in the ring, was again having constant issues with standards and practices, who were going over his TV scripts on a weekly basis and edited several references from the movie Deliverance during Nash's promo just last Wednesday, while clashing with company executives over wanting to bring back Lex Luger after publicly criticizing him for not going along with his planned angle, feeling that giving the talent the power to overrule him to management will undermine his authority as the head of creative, with Nitro Tonight as a result being written by an impromptu creative crew of Terry Taylor and Dead Ferrara formed on Thursday with the instruction to write the show with no major changes to current storylines and characters, with the idea that Russo is coming back next week, with a meeting with Bischoff and Siegel in LA to determine his future in the company set for Wednesday. With no major angles expected to be shot until Russo is back on the road, the spontaneous booking committee went with a more traditional show on the night with more in-ring wrestling while continuing the Russo storylines without giving any payoff to the programs, booking the top 3 matches of the night in the first segment with Nash against Cat for Scott Hall's contract, Scott Steiner vs Jeff Jarrett for the WCW title, and Goldberg against Horace Hogan looking for revenge for Hulk coming up next, with perhaps the biggest storyline development on the night coming with Booker taking out Kanyon doing a Page impersonation to drop the G.I. Bro gimmick and return as Booker T to start his road to a planned main event push set for the next month. With the new creative looking to maximize numbers on the night, WCW went with a similar strategy to last September and October when trying to pop a big unopposed number before Raw goes on the air by putting a Goldberg match in the 8:45 to 9 p.m. quarter. With Goldberg 8 days after the heel turn coming out to perhaps the biggest babyface reaction of the night, already putting his heel run in question, with Goldberg himself not fully committed to the role due to his out-of-the-ring charity work and the only way to get him constantly booed by the crowd, and Vince Russo now off television for the foreseeable future, with the Goldberg-Horace match closing the first hour with a 3.2 rating, followed by the Nash-Cat match crossing over 9 p.m. with Hall's contract on the line, continuing to tease Hall's return for the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view after being off TV since February, with Nash going over Miller in 3 minutes before finding out that Hall's contract was with Goldberg, challenging Nash to take it at Bash at the Beach before eating it to set up the match, with the first quarter maintaining the vast majority of the unopposed audience to open Nitro with a 2.8 rating in a quarter that featured the Nash vs. Cat match, the Goldberg challenge, and the first half of a 3-way cruiserweight title match. Facing strong competition on the night head-to-head with the potentially deciding game of the NBA Finals, Raw announced the full round of 16 for the King of the Ring tournament, with 6 matches set to take place tonight heading into the pay-per-view Sunday, with the first one opening the show with Kurt Angle vs. Bubba Dudley going 5 minutes with Angle going over to advance, followed by the faction coming out for a promo, as while Nitro maintained its audience better than usual, Raw's opening quarter took a major hit, drawing a 4.3 rating, perhaps with the combination of the Nash-Cat Goldberg match along with the heavier sports competition and no big star power promo segment that viewers were conditioned to see at the start of Raw, as the 4.3 quarter was the lowest rated quarter for a Raw broadcast on its regular time slot in over 18 months since December '98. One of the big talking points of the week took place on Wednesday in an unexpected out-of-the-ring confrontation, as with major names from both companies at a licensing trade show in New York, Goldberg publicly confronted Triple H on comments he made in an interview a few months back on Goldberg being a complainer that takes time off anytime he doesn't get his way and that he doubts Vince would sign him if he was a free agent, with Goldberg, who saw Hunter for the first time face-to-face since then, cut a promo on him in front of the big crowd in the room and challenged him on the spot before the situation was calmed down, with Triple H and the faction coming out next on Raw cutting a promo on the three #1 contenders saying that after Sunday he will move on to defend the belt against the winner of King of the Ring in July, with Vince, who got a fax from Linda moments before coming out reading it in the ring to change the pay-per-view main event on Sunday to a 6-man WWF title match, with the stipulation that the match takes place only if Rock, Taker and Kane win their 3 handicap matches tonight, with Raw after the year-and-a-half low to open the show rebounding over 1.2 million viewers for the faction promo to a 5.3 rating. Nitro had a Vampiro segment calling out Demon, followed by the start of a 6-man Bagwell and Chronic vs Douglas Bigelow and Candido tag match with 2 commercial breaks in the middle to drop to a show low 2.2 rating, while Raw jumped over 400,000 viewers to a 5.5 rating for Chris Benoit vs X-Pac, going 5 minutes in the second match of the King of the Ring round of 16, with Benoit going over, followed by the third match with Eddie Guerrero vs Chyna in the same quarter, with Eddie advancing to continue the series of matches that will also see 2 Cool members Rikishi and Scotty against each other for the first time later in the show. Both programs on the night due to different circumstances, with Nitro due to having a makeshift creative team and Raw due to building the show on the King of the Ring round of 16 tournament and 3 handicap matches, saw the shows having one of the most in-ring wrestling-focused nights since the start of the boom period, with both shows also indirectly advertising the same thing, with Ernest Miller on Nitro announcing that there will be no interferences tonight, while an hour later, in a coincidence or not, Vince McMahon announced no interferences in the 3 #1 contenders handicap matches, which are all saved for the second hour, with the bell-to-bell time on both shows unusually high compared to the fast-paced storyline-driven formula of the past 4 years that exploded wrestling viewership, with the combined rating of 7.7 rating in the head-to-head hour, one of the lowest since entering the simultaneous peak of the Monday Night Wars boom period in mid-98. With both shows picking up viewers in the 9:45 to 10 p.m. quarter, with Nitro jumping over 400,000 viewers for the start of the Steiner vs Jarrett title match, while Raw picked up to a first-hour high 5.6 rating for Chris Jericho vs Edge, going 6 minutes in the continuation of the tournament, which saw Jericho advance to the pay-per-view. The Steiner vs Jarrett main event with Mike Awesome as special referee crossed over 10 p.m. to go 9 minutes, with Steiner looking to have the match won until Awesome's interference for Jarrett to retain the belt, with the match jumping big with over 1.2 million viewers to peak the night with a 3.2 rating in the 7-minute overrun, closing the show with Goldberg laying out Steiner to bring out Nash, while Raw countered the Steiner-Jarrett title match with Undertaker working his first official Raw match since September '99 in the first of 3 handicap matches against Bossman and Buchanan, going 3 minutes, with Taker going over, with the Raw top of the hour quarter despite having 8 minutes unopposed, with Nitro going off the air at 10:07 p.m., not picking up any additional viewers, staying at a 5.5 rating. A unique impromptu angle took place 2 days ago during a WWF house show at the Target Center in Minneapolis, as in front of a 15,000 sellout crowd headlined by a Rock and Dudley's vs. DX 6-man tag match. Governor Ventura was in attendance and decided to rile up the crowd, playing the heel on the spot in several exchanges with Rock throughout the match to major heat, with the usual post-match routine of Rock singing the SmackDown Hotel song, seeing him responding to Ventura telling him to bring it, to a huge reaction from the crowd, with the show also seeing another name introduced to the crowd alongside Ventura, with Brock Lesnar, who just signed a developmental deal with the WWF in his hometown, watching the show from the crowd and seeing next to Ventura during his promo exchange with Rock. The 4-day WWF vs. USA Network trial ended last Thursday with Vince McMahon testifying for 45 minutes against the network, noting that USA did nothing for the WWF's success in terms of promotion while being massively underpaid, considering Raw's cemented status as the top program on cable television over the past 2 years, putting some of the blame on USA for Nitro outdrawing Raw due to USA not matching the promotion and advertising Nitro routinely got on TNT, while saying that USA hindered Raw's viewership by preempting it for the dog show in the US Open despite the Raw audience obliterating either show by big margins, with the judge advising both companies to settle out of court and closed the trial, saying that he hopes they can smell what he's cooking, with the deal to move the WWF programming to Viacom expected to be closed in the next few weeks due to USA not being able to match the overall package offered for the existing and new TV programs. After Taker and Kane won their handicap matches, Rock was the final one headlining Raw in the third handicap match against Test and Albert, going 6 minutes, with Rock going over to book the 6-man title match for the pay-per-view Sunday, with the match picking up over 800,000 viewers to a peak 7 rating, the only segment to enter the 7 rating range on the night, as Raw going against Game 6 of the NBA Finals, which saw the Lakers winning their first NBA title in a decade, dropped from the near-record levels of last week to a 5.8 overall rating.